about how social science research could be applied to the fields that you are working on and how to improve the user experience in research. Thank you. That was like something really short, but thank you.
Great. Mariana, could you share the name and put it in the chat in order to interact with your app, please? And if someone wants to answer the question Mariana asked, please share your thoughts.
It's a platform.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me send you the link.
Okay, perfect. So Mariana, could you repeat your question, please?
How do you think social science research and all the techniques we use, for example, study cases, face-to-face interviews, ethnography, observation, diary studies, can be applied in the field that you are working?
I would like to answer that in my case.
Thank you.
Please.
It's completely new with that the architecture has a lot to do with social. So the architecture is like a reflect of some piece of time. So how the people interact with the architecture and become part of their lives and how they live and how they construct and everything that is around of it. It is full social analysis because we work a lot with community. In social projects, for example, it's like everything. For example, 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to construct a classroom for a Choco community that was victim of conflict. So that's a lot of social and interesting about that because we didn't know how to. We have a few time and the community doesn't respond to what we were doing. So that's like a huge social issue that we found in that project. So for me, it's like full important.
Great.
Yes, can I say something? Yes,
yeah.
That's really
pretty short,
important.
please.
Yes, I think that social sciences, what they gave to these other fields is that we have like a empathic point of view, that we try to connect with people and not only design products, also services to improve their lives. So what you are saying of architecture, yes, I think that architecture and social sciences are going together, because when you are designing a house, a school, a project, you need to think of what people need and how they are going to interact with the space.
Amazing. Such a great comment. So let's continue with Joy. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Hi. My name is Joy. I'm from Nigeria, in Africa. I'm excited to meet people from all over the world. I am an IT systems engineer, and I currently have transitioned into cybersecurity space. I work for a financial institution, have been a consultant for years, and currently work for one of the Nigerian banks. And I'm excited to meet people. I was just writing down my paper that I was going to tweet today that I met like 6 new people all over the world just because of technology. Looking at the new world we are in today, we must always try to look at the good things that we're being able to achieve, irrespective of the whole things happening around us. A lot of us have lost loved ones, close family and friends, but we must stay focused that there are good things, and this is one of the good things that we're getting from this whole experience. And that brings me to what I wanted to talk about. I don't know for every other person, but for us here in Nigeria, one of the things that this whole new era or new world that we're finding ourselves in has brought is remote work. For some people in other countries, remote work has been something they've already infused into their everyday life. But for us here in Nigeria, we're beginning to understand remote work and how we should be. And I don't know for every other person how you're having balanced remote work for those who still work for organizations. And even if you're working for yourself, knowing well that the people who you're giving services to now do not have to be in a building anymore. As much as there are some services that still require people to come physically, the point is majority of the workforce today are operating outside the building. And so how are we positioning ourselves to still be productive, still give value, still give optimal service while working outside the building? This new culture, how are we building it into our daily life and ensuring discipline? How are we managing the people who come to us and ensuring that they deliver on their deliverables? How do we ensure that there's discipline and people know that they need to do what they need to do so that services don't break? Because even in this new era, we can't afford to have service failures. Think about it. A lot of us are connected today through the internet, so it means that we're relying on our service providers. So it means that base stations need to be up. It means that people who are monitoring these services need to be. So you can imagine that at this point in time, there's no room for certain kind of service failures anymore. We must make sure that things are up. So how do we do this combined with the fact that we have to work remotely? And there's some challenges we have here in Nigeria. Aaron, I don't know, you didn't mention what country from Africa you're on. I would have loved to know if you're sharing some of these challenges. For us, internet is still something that's not yet that big here in the country. It's something we still struggle to have, like stable internet. So having to work from home sometimes can be very capital intensive and new. And how are people dealing with it? How are you able to also manage your family? For us in Africa that are very, very, very family. How are you able to manage your home phone? Because now that you're at home, it can really be distracting sometimes to focus on work and focus on the family. Like for me, I had to shut myself in a room and give instructions to my kids that I'm in a very important meeting, don't disturb me, because if not, you're going to keep having them come and knock. And how are you doing that? Just to connect with every other person in the world and understand how they're dealing with remote work in this period and how they're handling some of the challenges. I'm a team lead. I'm a lead in my own organization. Sometimes you struggle to get the other people in my team to deliver optimally, because now I'm not seeing them. I'm not knowing that, so I need to know that they are doing what they need to do. They have services. Are they responding? How are you managing people in your team to make sure that they are doing what they need to do? And how are you surviving this new era? So that's basically what I want to talk about. I'm fine here. So it's more like I'm more of an interaction. So with my 1 minute, we could now talk about, or people could react to the topic.
Perfect. Well, so does anybody have something to say about Joy mentioned?
Yeah, sure. So, hey Joy, I'm currently working from Uganda, but before I transitioned into remote work, I used to do a lot of multimedia work. And it was very hard, but as time goes on, I've mastered the art. So one thing I have to say is that the biggest challenge is the family. Sometimes the kids are shouting, making background noise, and this is what you have to train your family day by day. You have to tell them that around this time, please make sure you don't make noise. Send them outside of the house, and they should understand, because this COVID thing has helped to bring this as a new norm. So now people know that it work from home. Before it was very weird, but now I think it makes sense here on the African continent.
You're right. Training process with families is such a difficult process, but we all have to face that. And that's pretty. I think that's a great thing about what we're living right now. And okay, thank you so much, Joy, for teaching us something different. And we want to continue with John. Are you ready?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is John Crissien from Bogota, Colombia. I'm really glad to share this space with people from all over the world. African people, great. When I studied my MBA in the United States, I have a couple of friends, close friends from Africa, and we share a lot of things in our countries. And that's the topic that I want to talk about: poverty and entrepreneurship. Now we are facing something that is very difficult for the world, but it's not new. In all the story of the human civilization, crises or changes are always present. But the only thing that we have to look after are principles. And here is my hypothesis. The only way that we can beat poverty in our countries is creating wealth. But not only money as wealth, but spiritual, human, family richness. And in terms of economic value, the only way that we can in our countries create value and create richness, create wealth, is supporting and helping small business owners. Now, for example, in Colombia, we have lots of financial help for big and medium companies, but small, micro, and small companies, as we call here in Colombia in Spanish, are called pymes or pymes, micro and small companies. Nobody helped them. My business is to help small business owners in finding what they are doing wrong in terms of getting customers, because the biggest problem of the biggest issue right now, not only for people and also for small companies, are clients, are sales, are actually getting cash flow, and the only way they can get cash flow is getting customers to buy. So if we help as researchers as Mariana, or as professors as Daniel, or actually as the thing that we do in Latin American Management Society, which is the company that I am the president of, we help small business owners to go to the next level. Many of them are actually having trouble now because they do not have income, they do not have sales, and if you don't have sales, you are not going to have inventory rotation, and actually you are not going to have cash flow. For people it's the same. If you don't have employment, you're not going to have cash flow, and then problems and poverty is going to rise up. So my concern and the topic that I want to address for all of you guys is: how can we help first the current small business owners to go to the next level, to be profitable in terms of creating employment, and second, to create more small businesses. We are now thinking that every small business is going to be a unicorn, as Rappi or as Torre or as Ubits, but that is not reality. That is 1 out of 100 or 1,000. So we need to help those small businesses, as for example the hairdresser that is working from home or doing some delivery to her services, and that's the one employment that is created. We need to help small business owners to go to the next level, and the only way that we can do that is by knowledge, research, useful knowledge. So that's my idea here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Does anybody has any comments?
Can I say something?
Yes, of course.
I don't know, John, if you know something that is called social economy. There are different examples around the world. In Brazil, there are some social banks. India, the Grameen Bank. Well, with all of this, what I'm trying to say is that these experiences shows that we need to relate in a different way with economy. Understand the economy not only as the transaction, yes, but also we need to think of how people are related to money, what they think around money, and the relations they build related to money. We have to create some spaces to have more democratic, like democratize, I don't know the word, democratizar la economía, the economy, and that means that we have to put the means of production, the process of production to be able to everyone to use. Maybe you can find more information about the social banks, but that is a great experience. I work with one in Brazil, and I really understand economy. That shows me a different way to be related to economy, understand the idea of community and how as working as a whole, as a community, not thinking as an individual, you can build and you can have some wellness.
Great. Thank you so much, Mariana. So I think you have some comments, but we want to leave those comments until the end so the other persons can participate too. So Alexandra, can you continue?
Sure. Hi. So I'm actually in the US, so very excited to be speaking with all of you. So I wanted to touch on the importance of recognizing burnout and self-care. I think in the US we have a culture of hard work. Work is everything. People are working very hard. I used to be a technology project manager in software, so I'm very familiar with that world. But I myself have suffered from burnout, and I don't know if that's a common term used outside of the US, but my journey, I essentially went back to design school and I'm now a business coach and also passionate about burnout because I kind of saw the toll that it takes on people. And so what is burnout? Feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, or feelings of negativism or cynicism, and reduced professional efficacy. Feeling your efforts are unappreciated, hopeless, helpless, and depressed, sleep deprivation. So these are all things I'm sure many people have experienced in their lives, and I think that it's very important that we recognize that we're not robots. Like, we can't just keep working and working and working until we break. And I think it's an issue that we have to address, especially with talking about sustainability and this global economy where now we are working at home and having those boundaries. How do you take care of yourself when everything is kind of within your home? So for me, burnout, it's just a sign that you need to take care of yourself and kind of take a step back. And it's not just physical, it's mental. And I do believe in that spiritual side as well. So like, how are you connecting with your intuition? Are you creating moments of stillness? Are you connecting to nature? And so for me, it's, taking a look at the human as not just mental, not just physical, but kind of that three-pronged approach. And I think honestly, like we need to incorporate more of that into our daily lives. And, I know from the US, it can be kind of this privileged perspective as well, where, we have connection to the internet, we have these things. But I think taking a look at just, societal pressures, generational pressures, personal pressures. I think a lot of people are definitely in need of rest and in need of those ways that they're able to sustain themselves so they can be full and contribute to their families and their careers and all these things. So just for me, I take work very seriously too, but we have to remember to laugh and have fun and all of those things. So I think for me, I just want to say it's okay to rest, that's very important. So yeah, that's all I had to say.
Thank you so much. I think this is a subject we tend to forget to rest, to take care of ourselves. So thank you so much, Alexandra, for sharing your thoughts. So let's continue with Ingrid, and if you have some comments about what Alexandra said, let's write them down so we can discuss it later. Ingrid?
Yes. Hi, everyone. About the Alexander says or about me?
No, about your speech.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ingrid. I'm from Peru. I'm 27 years old. Well, about me, I studied international business. Currently, I work for a company whose operations is have stopped for the quarantine for the virus, and this time makes me think about what can I make for me and for my future, about the work, about the job, about an entrepreneurship that I can make. And always I think about it, but I never, until now, I do it. So it's difficult for us as Peruvians because, for example, the formal job here in Peru is only represents the 28%. So the formal job is really less than the companies that can offer different jobs. And I know that in Latin America, that is the real life for all of us. So it's very difficult as I didn't remember. Yeah, I don't remember the name of the man that spoke in the two times, but he said that, for example, that small business here in Peru, maybe the life of them are 2 years, 2 or 1 year, and that's all. Because then of that, maybe the government doesn't give the facilities to grow, or maybe to have a different opportunities. Here in quarantine, we know that only that big companies have that opportunity. So if I enter here is maybe to analyze if you can share with me how you your small business have grown, or the other small business you can know about it. Because, for example, in my case, I want to start an entrepreneurship of jewelry, but for these times that the only maybe media that we can use is the social media, no? Instagram, Facebook, but sometimes doesn't enough for a business growth. So, well, that's my curiosity, my question about me, because in different places are totally different how it works. For example, I know that are people of Africa, so that's could be a different former, different way of thinking about it, and that's so interesting to share with some of that. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ingrid. So does anybody has anything to say about Ingrid asked about how to grow big a business which starts being little, a small business? So regarding your experience, does anybody knows or wants to participate on that? Yeah, John, for sure.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Me? Yeah.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. How, from your point of view, as your question, how we can support or help to a small business to have the next step, the next level. For example, in your country, Colombia, right? I think that Colombia and Peru has the same way of thinking of people and government. So that's maybe for example, for the government, the problem here is that corruption. And I think that Latin America, all of us have the same problem. So I don't know, maybe from your point of view, you can other answer, other solution.
Yeah, I think we all Latin Americans face that problem every day. So I want to ask you, John, if you could please wait a little bit because
Sure.
Fernando hasn't speak yet,
All right.
and we're running out of time. So Fernando, could you begin, please? We have 5 minutes. Yeah, Fernando.
Is it okay? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to speak about two things. Here in my country, Ecuador, the mass media don't inform, don't say the truth. They only use like a makeup to put a mask over the notice, over the news. And you have to go to international news to know what is really happening in your own country. For example, everybody, all the mass media are accusing the former president Correa about corruption. But until this moment, no fiscal, no judge, no anybody, no media have been able to prove one single case of corruption that former President Correa be guilty. Only the other people, but he not. So they are not giving the information that they should. In my country, there is a law, the education law, that says in the second article that social media, television, radio, and newspapers must be a part of the education process and play educational programs and give space so that the youth can express themselves. But the mass media are not doing that, and that is a problem for me. I am a journalist, but I am unemployed right now, and I have been talking to my partners, criticizing why the mass media don't open spaces for young people, because young people need to say what they thinking, what they want. We decide to do with education this, change the program, but we never ask the young people what do you want. Sorry, my English is not good. A minute. Okay. And the other thing I want to know is, in your countries, what do you think about Ecuador? What news do you get from Ecuador, and what is your perception about my country? And I think is my idea, corruption is in all America, North America, South America, it's a big problem. So my 2 points are, the mass media are not doing their job, and what do you think about my country? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fernando. So I want to remind you to please share your social media, the ones who haven't shared yet. And we want to begin the network section. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please, this is the time. So go ahead. Yes, Joey, please.
Okay, hi everybody again. I'll quickly just touch a bit of what we said. For small and micro businesses, I feel that what we need to do in this time is to understand how to teach them how to take advantage of the times we are in. The problem is that most of the small business are still thinking small. Small in the sense that they still expect the working customer, for instance. Some of the small businesses believe that, for instance, for them to have a mobile application, they need to have some big money, or they need to have this large account. Meanwhile, to get a website today, they're very affordable. It's just how are we engaging these small companies? These tools are available. Some of these small companies never used to keep inventory before. They never used to keep records of their sales because they thought they were things for the big guys. They were not for them. Meanwhile, there are opportunities there. So, in a nutshell, we need to educate the small companies to take advantage of this opportunity. There are grants that are available here, but it is information. So, we need to push out these people mission to these small companies, let them know that these opportunities are there. There are better ways to harness themselves to grow in the little time when, and they need to start thinking of how to do business different. So things like collaboration, things like partnership, they can begin to take advantage of all those opportunities and grow their business in the time to come.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining this session. Unfortunately, we run out of time, so I want you to please fulfill the type form I had just sent to the chat, and I'm afraid we have to leave right now. Thank you so much. Please connect with the other team members by using social media, and thank you so much for joining to On Conf 2020. Bye-bye. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all.
How can I talk with the girl of Peru?
Sorry.
How can I talk to Ingrid? I would like to talk to Ingrid.
Yeah, I put my Facebook and my email in the chat to find us. Everyone has to be described.
I didn't watch Ingrid. I will give my mail.
In the chat, in the app of your screenshot or sorry.
Podemos hablar en español, no hay problema. No veo tu email.
Yeah.
Pero pongo mi nombre para que me ubiques en el Facebook.
Yeah, sorry guys, we need to leave right now because we need the
Mariana,
next session, please.
Mariana, what's the number of the room?
Leave the room. Thank you so much.
The number of the room.
Okay,
Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you.
Fernando Arizaga.
Mariana, I have a question. I have
Yeah?
seen that pictures with the Torre, well, the invitation. Where can I
Yeah?
find mine, or how can I get it? Because I have seen of other speakers that they are sharing their picture with the topic of interest.
So I'll write it to you because I want to ask you. I want to ask that too. So I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.
I already
Mariana.
sent my email and WhatsApp over there.
Mariana,
Okay, perfect.
Mariana, what's the number of the room?
This is On Conf 2. That's the name. Just
Two.
put the name.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone. Nice meeting you guys.
Bye, goodbye.
Bye.
Nice to meet you too.